Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Messy. This is Jamie, and I'm so excited to have our guest on today. I've gotten to meet her a couple of times, and she's truly a really special woman. She is a Daytime Emmy-nominated television host. She's an entrepreneur, a wellness expert, an actress, a Broadway star, a New York Times best-selling author. You may also know her from watching her share so vulnerably when she tragically lost her husband, Nick Cordero, in early 2020 from COVID. She truly is somebody that inspires us all on how to find joy and to find hope in dark moments and so much more. I'm so looking forward to sharing this conversation with you. So please welcome to Messy, Amanda Kloots. Amanda, welcome to Messy. Hi. We were just chatting before we signed on. We have so many mutual people and friends, but we did get to meet when I was on the talk. And you're one of those people that, like, I know I could probably sit down and talk to you for hours. You're just like so open and ready to share. And those are my types of people.
Oh, I feel the same way about you. So it is so fun to be talking with you today. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Yes, I can't wait to get to know you more. So, one of the things that we like to begin with here in Messy is, getting to know people and sort of learning about them before life asks something impossible of them. Sometimes it's nice to know, and even see where people come from, who they were before, and how they've either taken those parts of themselves through life or how things have alchemized and changed. So with that, I'm going to ask you, what was little Amanda like? Think of 8-year-old Amanda. What did she wear? What did she listen to? What did she watch? What was her energy around her like?
Well, you are asking me this at the right time because I am in the middle of doing so much inner child work. So
I love it. Perfect.
So we are easy. It is easy to access little Amanda. Oh my gosh. I was 8 years, let's go 8 years old. I was probably listening to New Kids on the Block, wearing a lot of side ponytails, riding my bike through my neighborhood, which was idyllic in the Midwest in Canton, Ohio. And I had a new baby sister. My youngest sister was 1. So, we have a big family and she was like our new baby doll. So that was a really fun, just kind of embracing a change in family and now having this little live baby doll to play with. And I was wearing, do you remember multiples? Do you know what multiples were?
Jog my memory. It's not coming to me quite yet.
So it's kind of genius, but they were all really easy to wear, tops and pants. And then you could just buy different ones and wear whatever you wanted to, mix and match them basically.
Cute. I'm sure I had them. My mom was all about that.
And they were so 80s. It was just
bright colors.
Yeah, and just weird headbands and off the shoulder.
Yeah, the off the shoulder was everything.
Yeah. And weird poncho-y pants with pleats. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I remember. And then later in life found Limited Too and just thought that was the entire world. But I was a really happy kid. I had a really great childhood. I feel very lucky about that now. You know how you get older and you're like, wow, I was really lucky. I had it easy,
Yes.
So I was grateful for that.
Yeah. And so at what age did you find performing? Because I'd read somewhere and I loved this quote because I can relate to it so much. Mine was Sound of Music, but yours was Fiddler on the Roof, that you got basically chills during your first production where it just performing felt like home. What did dancing and performing give you that nothing else did before?
Yeah. So I went to an arts middle school, like fourth grade through eighth grade, that you had to audition to get into. And all my siblings had gone. So of course it was just like, well, you follow suit.
Right.
And that's the first time I started dance. It was in fourth grade. I had never danced before in my entire life. And I just loved it immediately. And it kind of just like my body got it and I just was able to do it. And I loved it so much. And then through that school, they asked me to be a part of the high school musical because Fiddler on the Roof is all about families and they needed to like round out the, ages.
Right.
And yeah, Jamie, when we were on stage, I just like, I'll never forget like this sensation. And it was just like, I have to do this for the rest of my life. And yeah, and it was, again, something I feel so lucky that like I knew what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's still crazy because I swear, like when I say this, you're gonna be like, there's no way. But like, I really wasn't that good. Like I really couldn't, I really couldn't.
Hard to believe.
Well, I could dance, but I really couldn't sing. And I didn't really understand the voice as a muscle until really later on in life. So like the fact that at 18, I just was like, I want to move to New York because I want to be on Broadway and it worked out is kind of a miracle.
That's like, I was going to say, like looking back, like what part of that young girl is still in you? There's just like this slight level of delusion that we all have to have, especially in this business, to think that you're going to pierce through and get in there and make it happen.
Yes. And you know what I realized if I like look back at my life, it's those times where I'm super green, even still at 44, when I really don't know what's up against me and I just do it anyways. That's when I succeed and the universe is like, it's going to work out. When I push too hard or when I think about, well, that director would never hire me or that choreographer doesn't use tall women. Like when I get in my own way, I get in my own way. So I feel like the best I can just stay super green and not learn about anything.
Yes. Yeah, I have full body chills right now. It's so true. And I can think back to my life the same. It's like, I always try to tell my kids, like, especially my 12-year-old, because, he's at this age where like he wants to pretend like he knows it all because it feels like will make him feel older and cooler. I'm like, no, Bo, saying I don't know is such a beautiful energy. And like, it's so good to be curious and it's so good to be open to learning because like you're going to absorb so much more. You're going to experience so much more than sort of feeling like you're having to force or fake anything. And so I totally know what you're saying. And I needed to hear that. So thank you. I'm sure other people did too. I love that you still have that within you.
Well,
it's important.
Listen, it is important. And it's sometimes really hard because we get in our own way the best. Like I will get in my own way all the time. And the thoughts that we tell ourselves are so strong and they're not true, And so I have to remind myself, like, just do it. There's an amazing billboard. I don't know if it's still up on Sunset. I love billboards. I'm such a billboard believer.
Yeah. Do you feel like they're like signs?
Yes.
Like when you look at them, it's like, okay, the universe wanted me to read that or see that right now.
Yes. Yeah. And there's one on Sunset, Jamie, and I have to go on Sunset a lot because I live in Laurel Canyon. And it says like very boldly, it's a black billboard with white like handwriting and it says, make it anyway.
Oh,
and it's an Instagram ad, but it just, every time I drive by it, it like reminds me to be like, just make it anyway, Amanda. Like, don't follow what you think you know. Just do what you need to do. So that's where I'm at.
It's so true. I think so many times I am an expert at getting a story in my head and telling myself what other people are thinking about me and projecting all of that out into the world. And every once in a while, I just get this moment of being like, fuck it. Like, who cares? Like, why am I creating? Who knows? Who cares? Who knows how much time we have, right? I mean, if anything life has shown us, it's so precious. And I know that you have been, fortunately and unfortunately, such a significant reminder to so many people of that. because of the way that you have generously and bravely chosen to share so much of your life. And you may not ever even know on your last day on this earth how many people's lives you have impacted and changed because of who you are and what you've chosen to share with us in every era and stage of your life, truly.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. I hope so. I feel a very strong sense of, like, at this stage in my life, like, just to like help as many people as I can. It's like this weird, not weird. It feels wonderful. And it's like, I think it's because like I want to make Nick's life a purpose. Like what we went through has to become a purpose. You know what I mean? So
yes, I do.
And it keeps his life alive, which is so important to me. So yeah, I don't know. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I hope I can continue to. It's
you are
my life mission at the moment.
And while it's, same and very different, I too have tried to figure out how to alchemize my pain and my experience into a purpose and of service, because it's just like, then what's it all for? Like, it has to mean something. And I don't care in the end of the day whether it did or not. It made my life more meaningful to live that way.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
So taking you back to 2020, first of all, I met Nick in the summer of 2019. We did a tiny little movie in New York where he played like a mobster. I worked on it like a couple of days with our friend Danny A. And Nick and I sat in the trailer and he was talking about you and Elvis, and like, he was just such a lovely person. And I can just tell you that my only experience with him was him just gushing about you.
God, I did not know that.
Yes.
And Danny A, I haven't heard that name in way. And you know who else was in that was Kelly Rizzo's husband, Bob Saget.
Yes, I know.
Just small world.
I know.
That was like such a special little movie.
It was. We had fun in like upstate New York. Yeah. Yes. So, okay. I just wanted to give you that little bit. But
I love that you met him. That's amazing.
I love that I did too. It was special. So, 2020, it was incredibly overwhelming for everyone. And you were almost like this window into the stories and even like the statistics that like we're seeing on a screen, and not having necessarily a face or a person to go with it. And you were that person for many of us. We attached ourselves to you and Nick and what was happening because it was so real and it was so raw. What led you to sign on to make that first video? Was it just the isolation and needing to feel connected? I think that, again, is such a brave choice to make.
I think about this a lot, and I get asked this question a lot. The answer I always say is because, I was going live every day doing workouts for people.
Right.
As we all were. We were all like just doing, paint for free with me. Yeah. Like everybody was offering what they could. And so I was offering workouts, and I felt like I was kind of living this double life. And so I felt like I had to come on and say what was actually going on, because I didn't want to like show up for the workout and then like have this other thing going on in our life, I'm not good like that. I don't lead double lives well. I'm just kind of like, I just tell it how it is. And then the other part of it was definitely that, Nick was 41 and he was in the ICU. I mean, like that was not speaking of statistics, that was not the statistics we were seeing on the news every day. And so it was more so, and he had none of the symptoms. So it was more so also like, hey guys, if you're just tired and you're sleeping around at your house, I don't know, maybe you should get tested, because my husband, that was his symptom and he's in the ICU right now. it's hard to like take us back to those early days of COVID, but like it was so wild, Jamie. Like sometimes it doesn't even feel real. Like
Yeah.
wild what we were all like doing and how scared we all were. And it just is, it's unfathomable. And I lived through it with what happened, it just is.
Yeah.
So it was a need to get information out. And I do that too. Like if I know something or want, I'll tell everybody. So it was so that.
And you had, like you said, you had a connection with an audience already on the daily pretty much. So you were just being transparent and honest about what you were going through.
Yeah.
Right.
But I will tell you what shocked me. And I think you'll probably relate to this a lot too. I never understood community until like going through that. Like I definitely didn't get on board because I was all alone sitting in this cabin with a 10-month-old and feeling like I need community. That was not even something I registered. I learned how important community is when you're going through something so awful through that process. And my God, it's like one of the most beautiful things. I'm a silver linings girl. I know people hate, to try, they can.
I'm with you. I am too.
It's not toxic positivity. It's just like the beautiful things that come through adversity. And that was one. I learned what community was and how amazing it can be. And so, I learned that lesson along the way.
I can tell you as well. I mean, I've had my own experiences in my life where it's like the deepest pain that I've felt has also brought the most love at the same time. Like it's like that source is there, and you opening up yourself was really, yes, for community, but also to let the love in that I think so many of us in our pain forget to do, whether you think you don't deserve it or you don't know how. It's the moment more than any to let the love in.
You're so right. And we sabotage ourselves because we're so sad that you start locking yourself in and hibernating. And it's the exact opposite. You need to open up to find the love. The love will save you. And it's so weird because like when you were doing this, the hardest times and the most love. And it's like, sometimes I look back like wanting that hard time again because the love was so tangible that it made me feel so whole. It was like, this is what life is about. This is what life is about. Family, community, and fighting for the people that we love in our lives. And it's so weird to think like, I don't wish for that time back, but you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying because 2 years ago, my son was very ill in the hospital for a couple of months. And I remember when we got home a couple of weeks later, I looked at my husband and I was like, please don't judge me when I say this right now, but I miss the hospital. And he was like, what are you? And I was like, everything was so present. And like, you're just so in the moment. And like, I was unafraid to ask for help and let the love in. And all of the, like that chatter was just so quiet. It was just, it's so pure despite it being so incredibly painful. So I so understand and relate to exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. How's your son doing now?
He's doing great. Thank you. Thank you. He's a fellow silver liningser as well, which, sometimes life experience can bring with difficult times. So, but he's great. Thank you.
Okay, good. That makes me happy.
Support comes from Oak Essentials. Oak Essentials was founded by my style guru, the lady that makes all my favorite comfortable pieces in my wardrobe, Jenny Kane. And if you know her world. You know the aesthetic. It's effortless, it's elevated, nothing extra. As her own skin started shifting in her 40s, she was looking for real solutions that supported aging skin without invasive procedures or that 12-step routine. Enter the Moisture Rich Balm. It is a product that works
with your skin at every stage, not against it. In fact, Jenny calls the Moisture Rich Balm magic in a jar. And after trying it, I think you'll understand why. I literally have one in every room of my house. I have one in our guest room for when guests come, because it is this thick and buttery substance. It melts right into your skin. It's not greasy. It's not heavy. You can feel it working immediately. It is made with all of these natural products that help to support collagen production while deeply nourishing the skin and helping support your skin barrier. How I fit into my day: morning skin prep before my big day. I can use it on my evening wind down ritual. It also works on dry patches, lips, cuticles, anywhere that needs a little extra love. The Moisture Rich Balm is Oak Essentials' best seller, and once you try it, you'll understand why. Head to oakessentials.com and use code MESSY for 15% off your first order at checkout. That's 15% off your order at oakessentials.com with promo code MESSY. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about us. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. Between work, family responsibilities, and everyone needing something from you all day, getting together with friends can feel like a form of self-care. So whether it's a glass of wine at dinner or a long overdue girls' night, listen, you got to make sure to drink Z-Biotics pre-alcohol before alcohol so you can enjoy the evening and feel ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Z-Biotic pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for rough days after drinking. So pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. How simple. So just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. You drink responsibly and you'll feel your best tomorrow. I'm not a big drinker, so listen, if I'm ever going to have a little sip here and there, I promise you Z-Biotics pre-alcohol is in my bag. Wedding seasons, bachelorettes, rooftop birthdays, August doesn't slow down, and neither do you. Pre-alcohol keeps it that way. zbiotics.com/messy, code MESSY for 15% off.
So this brings us to grief. You know, you have a quote that you said where grief can get quieter, but it's not necessarily smaller. And I find that grief, you know, can completely catch you off guard in moments where you were never expecting it. It's constantly evolving. Do you still believe that to be true, that it's gotten quieter, but not necessarily smaller?
Oh, yes. I honestly think it's gotten quieter and gotten larger, but in a beautiful way. I'm coming to a time in my life with grief where I'm really trying to embrace it. It's almost like I just wrote a little essay about this, how it's like my best friend. It's she, I'll say it's she. I say grief is a she. She's always there. She's constantly changing and evolving and growing. She helps me understand love. She helps me understand sadness. She helps me relate to people. She helps me to embrace life, more every single day. It's the friend I didn't want, but a lot of times the best friends in our lives are the bullies that showed up at high school that end up becoming your best friend. And grief came to me like a bully. I hated her and I would resist her and I would fight against her and cry and yell at her. And now I'm like, what if we just loved her instead? And what does that look like? And Jamie, I'm telling you, it's like completely changing my relationship with grief. The pain is there always, but it's like, how can I learn to love myself with this grief and love her in return and love the new version of me that it's created? Because it has created a new version of me. And so that's kind of where I'm at with it. But it's, I don't know. I'm kind of on just like that ride at the moment.
You know what? And it's like everything you're saying
is about an entirely different experience than one that I've had, but is exactly the same for me, where MS wasn't a friend I never wanted and would have never invited into my life. She's taken so much from me, but she was also the invitation to myself and learning how to love myself. And I almost don't want to know who I am without her, despite all the pain that she has brought. It's inescapable in life. And it's sort of the universal experience that we can all connect. So I understand, going back to like you're saying, it feels like of your service, because it is like everyone needs to hear this, to have the opportunity to, like I said, alchemize our pain. But, there's moments along with that I come up against that I'm wondering that you've ever felt, because sometimes I think that one of the loneliest compliments that I can receive is when somebody tells me, "You're so strong." Like sometimes I almost feel like I resent the question, because sometimes like strength felt like it became like a prison. If I ever showed anyone like the messy side of me, was I not who they thought I was? Am I no longer resilient? Am I having to live up to this expectation? And because of the way that you have shared your life and your outlook, have you ever come up against that?
Well, it's funny. I have another friend who has had tremendous grief in her life, and she also hates this word strong. She's like, I'm sick of being called strong. I don't want to be called strong. And it's funny, like we laugh about it.
I think we have this same friend. I think we share her.
And so now I joke around with her all the time. I'm like, you're so strong. And she's like, Amanda. Here's the thing, I think, though, it doesn't bother me, because I really, truly think that strength comes from weakness. And when you go through grief, it strips you down to your weakest, absolutely lowest level. And so it's like there is no other way to do anything other than build yourself up. So I don't see strong as a bad thing or something that I run away from. I don't mind if people say you're so strong. But I understand, because I think when you are going through tremendous grief, it's like, I understand why you are so strong is like it's like a, what's the word I'm looking
Trigger?
for? Yeah, a trigger. Right. And I get that. I understand that. I can see that side of it. It isn't for me. I guess I don't necessarily know how to respond to that, other than just like, oh, thank you. But it doesn't personally trigger me. Other things do, but that doesn't. But I love talking to grievers about the word strong and healed. Those two words very, very polarizing.
They can be, because you can feel like there's a blueprint for it, right? Or there's expectations that come along with it. And I think that it's taken a lot of work, at least for me on my part, to not be triggered when people call me strong anymore, because I have to release my expectations on myself and what I think others have on me around that.
Yes, 100%. Like I'll be honest with you, the days that I'm like on my knees crying and screaming to Nick, like, why did you leave me? Honestly, like in my opinion, that's strong.
Yes.
Like I'm vocalizing it. I'm getting it out of my body. I'm yelling at him. I'm saying what I need to say. That's strong. And so I think strength looks a lot different than what maybe people see. Mm-hmm. I think that's why I kind of have a different, relationship with the word.
Yes. And also I think, obviously understanding people's intentions when they say it. Because I also think around grief, not everyone's going to get it right. Right. And I think people want to. Everyone's trying, but it can feel
for lack of the better word, sometimes like awkward, right? Like people don't know the right thing to say, how to say it. How have you had to navigate that? Or if you've been able, I'm sure you've been so lovely and gracious about, but like, I know even for Kelly, where she's just like, ask me. If you get it wrong, I'll tell you that that didn't feel right, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, even after going through such tremendous grief and trauma, sometimes I still don't know exactly what to say or what to do. I think the best lesson I've learned is just to show up. You don't have to have the right words. As you know, there are no right words. There's no right words when you're going through something so awful. It's like you can't really say anything. I actually was just thinking about so Nick lost his father a couple years before he got sick. And I was thinking recently about how, like, I did not show up for him at all. Like, he lost his dad. I went to him with the funeral in Canada. We came back. But like, I don't think I ever like did check-ins with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like when here's where.
But you didn't know how.
Well, this is where I'm saying, like, this is where being green maybe isn't the right, because like, I didn't know how. I didn't know the tools yet. And I think this is maybe another silver lining of having to go through grief at an early age. You do learn the tools, and you might not always have the right thing to say, but you're able to show up in a different way and check in on people and just send, like, one of my favorite things to do to people I meet that have lost somebody is I always just send them a text message. And I go, no need to respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want you to know I'm thinking of you. I hope today is a good day for you, because also, you can have a good day while you're grieving. And I hope you do. You know what I mean? Like have as many good days as you possibly can. So I like that. That's my favorite.
That's beautiful. That's important, I think, to do, to remind somebody that it's also okay to have a good day within your grief.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was right after Nick died, I went to Ohio to be with my family, and I was crying throughout the whole week, but I was also with my family, and we were also doing fun things. Like,
and your little son.
Yeah, and my little son, and he was bringing me joy, and you can have both. There's, I'm a big believer with, you can't have light without dark. You can't have happiness without sadness, and you have to try to find as much of that when you can. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how you get through it if you don't.
I know. And sometimes also one of the best ways to honor someone's memory is through joy.
Yes.
I remember I felt very confronted when my oldest brother passed away, because my middle brother and I were grieving very differently. And there would be times where like he was having a really bad week or two and I was not. And I was stuck in my head of like, am I not sad enough? Am I not honoring my brother? But instead we were like out with our kids, like doing what my brother Adam would have loved to do, So there can be a lot of self-judgment around grief.
Yes.
And of course, from the outside world too. Did you ever come up against any judgment from the outside world?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I hate that for you.
I know. That week I was talking to you about when I was in Ohio, I posted like a workout video or something, because obviously I work out and it's my method of mental health and stress, anxiety, and I try to share that. And so many people were like, your husband died 2 weeks ago and you're smiling and working out. And I was like, yeah, I am. 'Cause the rest of the day I'm crying and on the couch. So yes, for this half hour, I'm enjoying music and working out and smiling and moving my body.
That's great. What a gift to people, because also so much of your message, even prior to all this, was about movement, right? And about wellness and connecting with your bodies through that experience. And so what better way for you to do that than through that. I'm so sorry that you came up against that. But that's also, I'm sure you can look at it as an invitation to teach people and remind them that there is another way.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that that's another like big lesson that we can always teach to people. Like, I was just listening to somebody the other day about judgment, especially with widows. And it was so true. Like, widows get so much judgment compared to widowers. It's really, it's very interesting how, like for instance, when a widow starts dating again, oh, you don't love your husband anymore. When a widower dates again, oh yeah, you need to find a wife for your children.
Yeah,
You need
so
that female
true.
energy. I'm so proud of you. Oh, it's good that you're getting yourself back out there. But a widow is supposed to wear black and just raise her children alone for the rest of her life and never have any kind of fun or sexual experience ever again. It's
Wow. It's so true. Wow.
Jamie, it is beyond true and so crazy and so sad. And I doubt I'd meet a widow that didn't have that experience and a widower that ever got told, what, you don't love your wife anymore. It's very, it's sad.
Yeah, I'm glad you called it out.
Yeah.
Because that is something I didn't think about, but it's very true. I have a very dear friend, Kimberly, who lost her husband, James, this past year. And her and I have had those conversations about that.
Yes.
And I remember before he passed, he had they've talked about it, ceremony with their children where they renewed their vows. And it was so stunning. And, he had said, like, your mom will need to love again one day. And like, embrace her and support her through that.
Oh my God.
It's such an important reminder for people. And speaking of children, I mean, our kids are our greatest teachers, right? And they are such an opportunity for us to heal and see things the way we forgot to see them. Are there any things, I know Elvis was so small when Nick passed, but are there any things about Elvis or that have unknowingly or surprisingly healed parts of you and this experience?
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I would have gotten through it alone for sure, but he's, like you said, he is my best teacher. And the relationship that I've built with him is so focused on just love and time and patience and peace. It's like, I was talking about this in a recent therapy session I had because I was like, oh, wow, like I cultivated with him a relationship that like, that's my ideal perfect relationship. And we were able to do it, I think, because life was so crystal clear. Like you said, it was like nothing else mattered at the time. And we were so alone with just each other. And we had the time to like build it from the start because he was a year old. So he's my constant teacher, and I'm so lucky for him. He's the coolest little boy. I never want to be away from him. I mean, he's right here right now singing Michael Jackson as he's dressing up in a soccer outfit. I'm guessing to go play soccer outside.
So did you take him to see the MJ movie?
Oh yes.
My kids loved it too.
He loved it. Yeah, it's Billie Jean all day long over here.
That's so cute. Same because of that. So I love that.
This episode is brought to you by Honey Love. I've talked about my love for Honey Love before, and I'm going to talk about it again. I keep reaching for my Honey Love pieces because I find myself not adjusting, not pulling, not like waiting to rip my bra off the second I get home, because these bras are supportive and comfortable, and they make you look and feel amazing. First of all, Honey Love is an independent female-founded brand. Reason enough to support them. But their products are intelligently designed by women who actually wear them. Because let's be honest, finding the right bra, especially as you get older, can feel frustrating. So let me tell you about a couple of them. They have their new crossover contour bra. It basically combines their best-selling wireless design with these molded foam cups, and it helps create this smooth, natural shape, perfect for under a t-shirt or any top, really. They also have their Cloud Embrace bra, which is a game changer. It is soft, it is breathable, it is incredibly comfortable, but still supportive enough to replace all your old underwire bras, which are so bad for you. And by the way, it doesn't stop at bras. Honeylove shapewear is the best because it's designed to smooth, support without squeezing or restricting, using targeted compression that works with your body. I literally feel so good when I wear this because everything stays in place. It moves with me, and I just get that little bit of extra confidence I'm looking for. So treat yourself to the most advanced bras and shapewear on the market using our exclusive link to save 20% off Honeylove at honeylove.com/messy. That's honeylove.com/messy. And after you check out, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience a new standard in comfort and support with Honeylove.
Well, so Nick loved music. So what other, I know that was such a huge part. You would do your, what they called musical mornings that you would post with him, which I loved. What other parts of Nick do you make sure that Elvis gets, even though I mean, Nick is part of him. He lives with him.
Yeah, I mean, Nick just had just such a fun spirit and vibrancy for life. And he also was such a curious man. He would lay in the bed and look at the ceiling for hours. And I'd be like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm just thinking. I'm just, I'm in fantasy land. And I would be like, I didn't understand or appreciate it at the time, but now I get it. Like he really just like took time to like think and be curious. And Elvis is very, very much like that. And I've really tried to cultivate that in him too, because it was important to Nick that, I mean, he said that when Elvis was born, he was like, I just hope my kid is curious. I hope he just like, wants to be involved in everything. So I've just really tried to foster like, yeah, absolutely. Go play soccer, go play hockey. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's travel here and just like show him, everything so that he is, staying curious. But, and Nick was everybody's friend. Everybody loved him. And I think Elvis also has that like personality about him. Like he gets along with everybody. He's an empath. He kind of just, weaves in and out. He's this old soul. So he's got a lot of his dad in him, which is so fun and such a blessing.
It almost sounds like, and I feel this way a lot about my brother. Like, it's like Nick had for lack of a better word, like the enlightenment or like the perspective that people have to live a whole lifetime to receive. Do you know what I mean? And I'm so heartbroken for you that his journey was cut short, but it's almost like sometimes I look at my brother and think like, oh, the way he lived his life, it had to end there for us to really take the lesson and the gift of who he was and what he was here to teach us all.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder what your thought is on this. Like, what is your thought? I've been thinking about it a lot, like our soul's journey and soul's purpose. And I believe it was a medium that said to me, I've seen many and I love them all. And one of them said to me, like, this was Nick's soul journey. Like he was I'm paraphrasing in a bad way, not supposed to die. But he wasn't supposed to live on longer than this. Like this was his purpose. And, listen, it's the last thing you want to hear when you've just lost your husband. It's like, that makes no sense. However, as time has passed and I think about Nick and his legacy and where he was at when he passed away and what his life and his death did to impact the world, it does kind of like make sense to me in like I've been really into soul's purposes and journeys lately, so I'm like going down this rabbit hole. But like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Like,
I'm in line with, my brother was 41 as well.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And so, and it's just helped my mother a lot as well. And honestly, a medium did help us with this perspective as well, because we as a family had to decide to take him off life support. And, my mom was very tortured about that, of like, did I make the right decision? Did I do right by my son, given as much information as we were given? It felt like, our only option.
This is what I had to do with Nick. I did, so I get
I
it.
know. Yeah. But it was understanding like this was his story. And unfortunately in life, sometimes it comes with a lot of heartbreak. But my God, the way that it has changed so much in all of us. And I remember giving the eulogy at my brother's funeral and looking out, and there was like standing room only in this funeral home on Long Island. And I'm like, my brother was just so kind. He was like, he lived like Peter Pan, and it would frustrate us. We're like, you're not saving your money. And like, what are you doing? But it was almost like subconsciously he knew that he didn't have to save for a future, and he just lived for every day and smiled at everyone we saw and hit on every pretty girl that he made eye contact with, because he just loved people, and they were all there. And I'm just like, first of all, you don't even know the impact you have on people. Like, to see all these people that maybe have even met Adam a month, a week, whatever, and they were changed by him and his spirit. And you did that for Nick. You were able to share him with the world in a platform that we all needed, that we might not have gotten access to before. And again, I'm so sorry for what you and Elvis and your family have had to go through, but it no doubt is like woven in the fabric of like the universe and the stories that like need to happen for life. I'm such a believer in that. And again, whether it's bullshit or not, that's how I like to go through the world.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was saying this to my friend just yesterday, because we were talking about souls and journeys and karmic energy and all that stuff. And I said to her sort of that. I was like, I would definitely not be on this path in my life if Nick and I hadn't met and married and this hadn't happened to him. Like, I would not be, this like speaker on grief all the time. like I didn't know grief at all. I lost my grandparents, but like,
that's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I definitely didn't meet grief yet when that happened. I was so young, I didn't even understand. So, it was interesting. We were saying how like, if that was Nick's journey and he was supposed to do what that, if that was his journey, I guess is the best way to put it. It's hard to put this out in the right way, but like, then it was also my journey to be his voice and to speak for him while that was happening to him, and then carry on that for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like, that's maybe my soul's purpose and my soul's journey. So it's interesting because I don't know. Again, it's just ways to look at it. I mean, like, you could also look at it in a very different light. Like, he got COVID and he died, and that's unfair and that's not okay. And I should, hide and hibernate from grief my entire life. And I get that version too. Mm-hmm. It's just, I choose to do the other version. I just find purpose and the light. I try to find the light.
I'm on that same side of the coin, and I absolutely understand. And again, no judgment for how anybody goes through things, because, I also think, especially when you share your vulnerability publicly, I feel like sometimes I'm cautious of feeling like it's not going to last longer than people are comfortable with. Like, sometimes I feel like it's very easy for them to hold space for pain, but then they almost want you to wrap up your grief quickly into a life lesson. And I think the more now that I talk about it, like even having this platform, I have the space for the grief, but then also the perspective that it's giving me. And I hope that can show people and what you are showing people is it's just a wave that you ride. Like, even though you have these beautiful ways of looking at it that allow you to move forward in very many ways, you still have the space for all of that pain, like you said, that I'm sure comes up all the time.
I think that's such an important message to everyone, because if you know somebody that's grieving, it's important to not put a time limit on their pain. And then if you are a griever, it's important to know that you can continue to grieve and you will for the rest of your life. And that's okay. And that's one of the things I really also want to get out into the world, because I think people think that oh, it's been, I'm coming up on 6 years with Nick. July 5th will be his 6-year anniversary. And you better believe I'm still going to post about it, and I'm going to celebrate that man's life. And I'm going to talk about how grief has just, become a part of me and how it doesn't end. And we don't have to. And if anyone's watching that or looking at it like, oh my God, it's 6 years and she's still grieving, you better believe I am, and I will for the rest of my life. He was my husband. We had a son together and I loved him. That does not stop. Do you know Rabbi Steve Leader, Jamie?
Yes.
Okay. So Rabbi and I were having lunch the other day. He's become such a dear friend. I love him so much. And we were having lunch and I was just going through a bit of a moment. And he looked at me and he goes, Amanda, when do you think you are going to be over losing Nick? And like an idiot, I look up to the roof and I'm trying to calculate. And he goes, look at me. And I looked at him. He goes, never. The answer is never. And I was like, right. And he was like, and it never should be. And I think that that's the message we need to keep talking about grief. Never. So keep talking about your person, keep loving your person. I have the most spiritual relationship with Nick. It is unfathomable to me. The man talks to me all the time. We are connected more spiritually than I felt when he was on this earth. I ask him questions, he answers. I ask for things, they come. He is around, and it is so tangible and beautiful that it is I don't even know what's going on, but I never let him go. So he is still here. We don't have to let our people go. They are here. They can still be around. I think the biggest mistake we say is, oh, they're buried, so I have to bury them too. No.
I'm speechless right now. That's so beautiful, Amanda. It's so true and so beautiful. And I love that you said that and shared that. And I know that, one of the things our friend Kelly taught me too was she was like, ask me about George.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him. I don't want to avoid the conversation. Because the energy never dies. They're still there. And I love that he still talks to you and that you feel connected and you talk to him all the time. Are there things in your life that bring you joy, maybe that wouldn't have before, or things, about yourself that this has brought out that maybe wouldn't have been brought out before?
Well, first of all, Jamie, when Nick died, I owned a fitness company. That's what I did. 24/7. I had my fitness company and I, worked out for a living. Since he died, I became a TV host, a writer, an entrepreneur. I mean, it just expanded into all of these things. But I think my favorite thing that I found was writing. I never was a writer. I didn't even have a journal or diary as a kid. And it just flows out of me. And I love it. It's so cathartic. And I found it when I wrote Live Your Life after Nick died. But then I found it like in all these other different ways when I wrote my children's book and things I'm doing even right now. And it's so fun. And I never ever thought that I was a writer. And I just am like, I can't get enough of it. And it's so fun. And again, very green. I don't know anything about the proper way to write. I really don't. My sister who often writes with me does. And, she's like really good at grammar and punctuation and stuff. And I'm not. And it's been such a loving reward that came from everything.
I love that. I just wrote a memoir. And so like that was my only experience with writing, but I'm sure you feel the same way where I almost felt like I was a channel when I was writing. Like the way it flowed out of me was like, this is not about me. Like I have enough in validation and support and love in my life, in the things that I share. But writing my book was for other people. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I felt like writing was a very spiritual practice in very many ways. So I'm so glad that you have found that. And you don't even have to, categorize it as like a new talent. Like you said, just let yourself be green and let it flow, because it's such a beautiful practice.
Yeah, it really is. And I was just talking with this brain psychologist, and he told me, he was like, the best thing you can ever do through grief and trauma is just write. Right, because our brains are built to protect us. And so we come up, it thinks all of these, a negative thought is basically just trying to protect you from something. And so he was like, just write, like it's one of the best things. So I tell that to any, widow or widower that I meet, because that's kind of like, a lot of the grievers that I meet are in that community. And I'm always like, just sit down and write every day. Like even if it makes no sense, like it's so healing and really helpful to just take what you're thinking in your brain, just write it down on a piece of paper. So, I really, I love it. Like I'm
so glad you do. All right. Well, so my last question before we let you go, what are you looking forward to right now?
Well, I'm starting a podcast. Will you
Yay! Of course. I would love to.
Yeah. And I am really looking forward to it because, I have been on, guests on so many podcasts, and I love it so much. I love talking to people. I love relating to people, and I love, obviously, like what we've been saying, sharing the passion of just like sharing stories, because it's so helpful to people. So
yes,
I'm starting a podcast, and I'm hoping that it's just a way for people to find light and learn how they can, any tools they can to get through tough times. So I would so be honored if you would come on.
Anytime you want, that. And I'm so glad that you are doing that. It is so needed. And you're such a light. That's the only word I have for you, Amanda. You are so filled with goodness and light and love. And again, that just shows and your life you've been through really painful things, and to show people that it's still possible to have that energy and hold that despite what you've been through is so needed and so important for people to see and witness. Truly.
Well, thank you. Right back at you.
Thanks, girl. Well, next time I'm in LA, I'm going to reach out so we can actually hang out.
Okay, good.
I would love that. All right. Before we let you go, I close out with a quote that I randomly pull for each episode, and they always somehow feel like they pertain to the show. So today, our quote to leave you with is, "Strength isn't measured by how gracefully you carry what's heavy. Sometimes it's measured by finally admitting it's heavy at all."
I love that. It's very much like we were talking about strong. How it's actually, for me, it's like the weakest moments. I love that.
That's right. I do too. And so it is.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
If you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review.
Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.